have it for prosperity, essentially for me to look back probably next year and say, God, didn't I look young? So lots to get through today. We've got an exciting show and tell. This is the show and tell for development for sprint 8 and 9's progress. We are in sprint 10 at the moment, so it's heating up in the field worker big brother household, because our last build sprint is sprint 11, so you'll be seeing a revised plan from me shortly. However, I'm really keen to show you the progress that we've made. It's really quite exciting. The last time we met you, it was sprint 10. Just to recap, we have a blended team. So we've got a number of BCCers. So on the team, we've got an external team, UK based, and we've also got our offshore team. But what I must say is we all operate as a true Scrum family, and that it's absolutely brilliant. So we continually communicate via our stand-ups and across the team, and that really helps us enable to make the super progress across the platforms build. We've got the Scrum family of the field worker, but we wouldn't be where we are today demoing what we've made without the superb support and the ongoing support across IT&D. The collaboration, the helpfulness, the interest in wanting to understand more about the project is absolutely mind-blowing. It's brilliant. And I've got a list of names I'd love to give shout outs to, but that wouldn't be fair. So everybody from in app support, in in development team, in infrastructure, in networks, in business solutions, you're all brilliant. And now we're starting to work with the service readiness team. I really appreciate your support. So I'm going to zip it and I'm going to hand over to Zahia, but I'm aware that I need to do something new on screen sharing. So in true
it's fine, Helen.
You done it?
Yeah, I can I can share my screen. So.
All right, over to you, Zahia, as product owner. Just recap on your role as product owner, please.
Yeah, we'll do. So can everybody see my screen first? You good? Okay. Right. My name is Zahir Akhtar. I'm the product owner or the proxy product owner on the field worker project. So it's been a very busy period, and it's getting busier as we are heading towards the end of the delivery of MVP. So the journey started for me in the alpha, and I took the project through to delivery of alpha. Now we're in beta. So we've been in the process of building the MVP for field worker platform, and we are almost we are about 85% of the way through in developing the platform. Well, I'm going to speak a bit more about that later. In terms of the product design, we've been working with a design and governance team who've been guiding us along in terms of the GDP. What's it called? The government digital standards, GDS, that's the word. GDS standards. We've been they've been guiding us on those GDS standards and ensuring that we are adhering to accessibility and ensuring that the product is being developed with that in mind. We've also been working with a focus group that's been looking at the look and feel of the product as well. So and then also we've been working with the business stakeholders on business change. I've said it in the past that no technology is is successful in its delivery without the business embracing that technology. And I think that is a really important aspect of what we're looking to deliver, is that it's not just technology, but we are working very closely with our business stakeholders to ensure that the change that they need to embrace is done in a smooth way. So in terms of the progress of the MVP, this what I'm showing you here is functionality of the MVP. So we are onboarding the fire and risk service area for the MVP. So we're working closely with them, and there are certain functionalities that they've needed for MVP to be able to use the product in a way that will benefit them. And so there's areas like, and the way we've developed this is that we've taken those their requirements and then looked at what the platform needed in a generic way as well. So a lot of the functionalities that we've built are built in a generic way. So taking, for example, job creation, typically we'll be importing jobs from the line of business applications, and will be then there's a functionality. So we have now functionality that the field worker can then assign themselves jobs. They'll be able to then view job details, and then I'm going to come back to risk in a minute. Once they know what the job is, and they've assigned themselves the job, they can now start capturing information when they're out in the field. And the way we've developed the capturing of information is that we've developed it in a generic way that enables any new integrations, any new data capture forms that need to be developed can be developed quite quickly without the need for a lot of development, coding to do. And then, of course, submitting the data, the information back to the line of business application. In terms of these raising risk, so we've I'm sure many of you have heard a risk marker being bounced around quite a lot, I think, recently. Well, this is a key functionality of the MVP is the risk marker in the risk marker repository. We've connected the risk marker repository now into the fieldworker platform. Now we can view risks. We have the ability to raise a risk, so the fieldworker can raise the risk when they're out in the field. We are currently working on amending a risk and approving a risk. And then raising a repair was a functionality that the service area in question needs to be able to do when they're out in the field. So, for example, caretakers or building service managers, when they are inspecting a building, there may be a repair that needs to be carried out. We will demonstrate that built in a bit, where we have now been able to integrate raising a repair into the platform, which then gets pushed back into the line of business application, and then the functionality continues from the back end in the line of business application as it was as per usual business process. And then in this current sprint that we're in, we're also looking at offline capability. So that's a very quick whistle tour of overview of the functionality of what we're building. This is some of the. I'm not going to go into too much of this now, but this just shows you which features that we've already developed. And I just want to really, I'm not going to go into too much detail. We're going to show you a lot of this in the demonstration. So a lot of the data capture functionality is most of it's built. In terms of digitizing the form, most of that is built. Recording job evidence, attaching documents, taking photos, capturing signature, a lot of that's built. Viewing the job status, again, a lot of this is now built within the MVP. Going back, we can view, we can pull information now from the line of business application, and in terms of data security, we are adhering to GDPR standards. Data is secure and encrypted, and we're ensuring that the right people have access to the data. So we're currently working on workflows, particularly the approval process for risk marker. In terms of offline capability, something that we're working on at the moment. Risk marker, we integrate into the risk marker database. We've done some elements of proactive risk marker notification, and we have ensured that devices are encrypted. And this is a BCC policy that all devices that are on the BCC network are encrypted. So that leads me on to the demo. The first demo we're going to have is from Andrew Hale. He's going to give you an insight into the work that the integration work stream have been doing in the previous sprint. So Andy, over to you.
Thanks, cheers to here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so the work the integration team have been doing over the last 2 sprints can be grouped under development or environment configuration. So we'll start with the environment configuration. We've had the production environment started to be set up. Thanks to Amos for this. As you can see, we've got a separate subscription for the prod production environment. This is another security container to separate the resources between a non-prod or development and testing environments and the production environment. Within that, we've got the virtual network set up and a production VM, which has been set up for testing and to prove that we can connect to production Northgate, the address service, and also Nutanix. This configuration was reviewed in a Teams convo between Zafar, Fran, Luke, Amos, and Alan. Continuing with the production, the environment configuration, in non-prod, we performed a simple database migration of the import block data table into a more applicable database. And this meant the application code and the integration logic app code was updated to reflect that database change. Also signatures. In the mobile app, as you may know, that signatures can be captured. When it was originally set up for speed of development, that was exposed publicly, but that's now been secured to a private configuration. You need a certain authentication method to be able to connect to store to that container. Moving on to development, the real big push really from Sprint 8 was the Northgate repairs. We started off by prototyping the UI data assumptions. Well, actually, Fran did that. This allowed us to build a configuration table and POC tool to upload 52 permutations of various repair requests into Northgate to confirm the API structure would actually be successful. I should give thanks to Ricky for helping for involvement in this task. The next big task for us was the address service lookup investigation. This here in Sprint 8 we performed the investigation, and in Sprint 9, because we had the the analysis done, Sanjay built an API logic app to actually communicate with that, and then I did the transformation and function app, which allowed us to actually call this address information, perform searching, and return a structured JSON. Other developments include another API, Northgate Person, Risk Market API, and also Fran developed a number of store procedures for the app team. Finally, there was another API which was part of Microsoft Graph. This allowed the accessing of user information from AD. Basically, this allows us, well, I should give thanks for Mike for assisting in this, Mike Shakespeare. And this actually allowed us now to get user information, roles, and group information for that person. I should also give thanks to the testing team for a really quick turnaround on testing these APIs in such a tight space. Upcoming for us is deploying code into production and also configuring a secondary production environment. I believe the next demo will actually be showing this in an end-to-end output. So yeah, thanks for listening, and back over to Zahir.
Thank you, Andy. So that actually nicely leads us onto our next demo, which will be of the mobile app. So I'm going to hand over to Kiran.
Hi everyone. So I've shared my screen, so I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kiran.
Okay. So I've already logged into the app as a BSM user, and when I tap on jobs to start with, to view all the jobs that have been assigned to me as a BSM user, I can see all the jobs and defaulted to the all jobs tab. And to access a job, I can see there are some risk flags as well. As we can see, if there are any risks associated against a job, we can see a risk flag. Where there are no risks associated against a job, there is nothing. It's just job details. To show the risks as well, I can tap on view job, and I can have option to view the risk by tapping on view risk, which will give me the details of what the risk is, which is associated with this job. So if I go back, I can also add a risk here. So if I go add a risk, and then, for example, if I wanted to add a person risk for this job, I can tap on person risk, tap on continue, add the details. Thing to identify, I'm just giving some test data there, and then when I tap on, I can also select the continue and then enter the job details. Submit risk. So I can see my risk has been now submitted. So to view that risk, I can go back into the database, and then if I select risk here, so this is the risk I've just done. Yeah, you guys can see. So that's adding a risk functionality, which we have done as part of the sprint 8. So if I go into continue, I'll be returned back to the landing page, and then I tap on jobs. I want to show we have also done razor issue repair as part of sprint 9. So I'm going to show you that how to do that in the app. So if I tap on any of the jobs, and then to go into the job details, and then if I tap on start job to start inspection, where I'll have an option to raise a repair. So I know on top of my head which section I need to delve into to raise a repair. So if I straight away dwell into that and select the subsection. So if I scroll down, I can see there is an option for me to raise a issue and the repair here. And there. To raise a new issue, I'll just say.
So just to make it clear, you don't get to raise an issue or a repair on every question, because not every question requires that functionality. I mean, some of the questions when you're inspecting a building for fire and risk, some of the questions are more about governance and ensuring that they meet certain governance criteria. But in this case, it's actually inspecting something there.
And Zahir, just to echo, or just to add on to that, the repairs we've got are the most generic repairs they've given us from the business. So repair wooden door, the list that you just shown there, select the repair. So it's not here.
Yeah, so just to clarify that point, so currently when you in Northgate, the process of raising a repair can be quite complex. There's it's a lot of lookup data that can be used to create a repair. What this particular service area did was they looked at the most popular and most common repairs that were raised through their service area, and then they gave us all the lookup data that they needed to use to raise a repair. And based upon that, we then create within our app, our platform, we created that lookup data within the platform itself. This is an area that we will look to expand upon later down the line in another release. But for the MVP, this is what was needed and what was required.
Okay, so thanks, Zahir. So I've submitted the issue. I've also added the repair details. So now when I save, I should be able to see this issue and the repair in the backend database. Which I'm going to show you guys, and I'll also show you the work order reference in the Northgate housing as well, to show that the end-to-end functionality is working as expected. So now that the issue had added successfully message has popped up, I can go into database.
Just before you do that, can you just go back?
Yeah,
back to that mobile. So just want to make it clear, also clear here, guys, that where you're seeing the question there, do fire exits open in the direction of escape where necessary, and then the response. Well, all of this is configurable. So you can change the wording there. You can change the kind of response that you want. You may not want a radio button response. You may want to now have an open text field. So you can change that, and that's all configurable. Yeah. Sorry, Kiran, carry on.
Yeah, that's right. So if I go back into the database now and issues, if I just execute first. So this is the repair I've just raised. As you can see, numbers and all the details I've put in as well. So if I wanted to see this as well in Northgate housing, I just copy this work order reference and then go back into Northgate housing, select work order reference, and then paste that there, search. And I can see that work order reference is now appearing in Northgate housing, and I can access that and see further details as well once I tap on that. So see more information by clicking on expand as well. You can see information such as like contractor site, cost by wear and tear, work program details and stuff like that as well. all this here. And if I go back into the database, I did not show the issue. So if I go back and run this query, I can show the issue which I've just raised as well. Current issue test with Windows 01, which I've raised just now. So you can see the time as well. You see.
And just a point on the issues there. So the way that we've developed this platform developed this is that an issue can be raised separately from a repair. So for example, not every issue may need a repair. For example, if a fire extinguisher is in the wrong place, or that there's been some littering being that's been left around, some rubbish has been left around. So that wouldn't necessarily impact that won't necessarily mean that a repair needs to be raised. I think so for those cases, the issue still needs to be raised and logged, but the caretaker can resolve that issue themselves. But in some cases, if, for example, a fire door is damaged and the window is broken or the hinges are broken, then that is a repair that needs to be done, and that's where the separation is. And just want to also make it clear that this is now where data being captured in terms of the repair is being captured out in the field, and that captured information is being sent directly in real time back to the line of business application, where back to Northgate, where that repair is being raised. Where it's all happening through APIs, through secure in a secure manner, and there's no direct connection with Northgate Housing. And then on top of that, the processes that then kick off in Northgate, none of those processes are impacted in the way that we've developed through using APIs. Azim, do you have a question?
Yeah, Zahir, it'd be good to understand, I think for the group, what currently is going on. So how they're currently working, and how will this impact them?
So this would be a huge benefit for them, in that currently the way that caretakers and the building service managers, they operate at the moment is that they have to phone the service desk up to raise a repair, and in some cases they're having to wait about up to half an hour to raise just one repair. And if there's multiple repairs that they have to raise, then that's even more time taken. What will happen now is that they'll be able to raise a repair, and it will get sent straight to Northgate instantly. They can do that in a matter of seconds now. So it's a huge time saving for them, and a great benefit. So, Kiran, was that the end of your demo?
Yes, that's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it from my end.
Thank you very much, Kiran. I'm going to now hand over to Inam, who will demonstrate the risk marker side, the work stream that has been working along. So Inam, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Zahir. Yeah, you people can see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, it's coming through.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so basically what we are doing is we are having two applications, like a risk marker and one a field worker. So whenever a job is started, we are putting a functionality which will take the job side, and on certain basis of certain criteria, it will match the risk side, and it will tell us like how many jobs are matching with the risk in two fashions, or basically in two manners. One is probabilistic and one is deterministic. Here in this slide, we are explaining the first case, deterministic way of matching in between the jobs and the risks. So I'll just get you through to the scenario first, and then I'll take you to the live demo for that. So as you can see, there are two jobs available. job J01 and J02, and there are few information related with each job. As you can see, there is UPRN, party information source, and location ref in the job side. And similarly, we have the information source in the risk side and property UPRN. So in deterministic matching, we are considering two things. In case of area, risk type area, we are considering UPRN, and in case of person type risk, we are considering location information source, and also along with that the party reference. Now what when our algorithm will run, it will get job as a parameter, and that parameter will goes into our algorithm, and it will give us the few values which are matching against that particular job. Like in this scenario, it will be two risks match. One will be as carrying the ID 84, and one will be carrying ID 85, and one will be matching with location, and one will be matching with the party and information source. As you can see, in case of 84, it's an area type risk, and we have property UPRN as one, and look, and you in other way around, we can see the UPRN 001. So it's kind of same in a database. In here, as you can see here, one as the UPRN value. So it's matching on this criteria. And similarly, the other one way around is basically you can see party ref column and Northgate information source column. So in 85 case, it's matching on the basis of Northgate and party entity ref. So I hope that's I have clarified the scenario. Now I'll go to the live demo. So we have to pass the same ID. And firstly, we just need to see basically on basis of whatever we get the response out of our function, it will populate our this table, which can be seen by the front end afterwards, once they put in this functionality under there. So sorry. So now I'll run with the ID I was I gave in the slide. As you can see, we have found the two matches as was mentioned on the slide, 85 and 84, and these two are matched on the information I have told you previously given in the slide, and have matched deterministically. And now we can go and see what's we have got in this table. As you can see, match type is deterministic, and the two IDs have been matched against the job we have passed. Now there's another scenario, basically that's the probabilistic one, as I told you. In that case, what we are considering, basically we are considering, as you can see, there is a job again with the ID 003. In this case, we don't have a straight match, because these two are from two different sources. As you can see, the job party in this case have Northgate as a source, and the risk has RBs as a source. So we can't match straight in ID ways, and then UPRN of our risk is not matching with the UPRN location of our job. So we can't match these two things deterministically. In that case, we have designed our algorithm in a way that it will take account to strings. Basically, we'll go into the party reference of our job on basis of its ID, as you can see, into the source of Northgate, and then we'll see the names, first name and last name and DOB, and we'll match with our risk information. You can see on the basis of names and the date of birth, and basically it will match in a fuzzy manner. Basically they'll see what are the similarities in between the strings, and if the similarity is above 80%, then we'll say yes, this is a match. So now we'll pass this ID into our algorithm and we'll see how it's response. You can see we found a match as was given in the slide, and we have to see the table, whether it has been updated or not, and what sort of information we have got in the table. As you can see, we have got the same risk IDs against 1003, and see its match type is probabilistic and score is 100.0 because both strings was completely matching. Yeah, that's from my side. Thank you for your patience. Over to you, Zaid.
Thank you, Nam. so that concludes all of the demos we had for you guys. So as you can see, it's been a lot of work happening in the to date, and we are nearing completion of the MVP. As you can imagine, it's always a mad rush to get to the finish line here, but we are almost there, and the team has been working really well collaboratively. Although we have got 3 separate work streams, they've been working amazingly well, actually, in ensuring that the touch points between each work stream and the different layers are smooth and the in line with the way that we are developing this. So it's been very good in terms of that collaboration and the way that we're working. In terms of the MVP deadline, we are still on target to hit that, in terms of the demos, if anyone's got any questions around any of it, we're more than happy to take on some questions now. We've got a few minutes, but if there's any clarification that people want afterwards, more than happy to go into detail in some of the issues that questions that people have. I know risk marker is it's a hot topic at the moment, and we are looking to possibly do a separate session for risk marker, because I don't think we do it enough justice in this short time period that we have, and it is quite a complex area of the field worker platform.
Thank you.
So open to questions.
Yes,
Tom?
brilliant. Yes, thank you. Great work, Sahir. Amazing. Good question around user testing, and just like to understand a bit more about how you got about recruiting people and where you're at with your testing process and how you've been feeding that back into your development.
So
Sahir, do you want to take that one?
So in terms of testing, that we are we are looking to actually move into UAT testing, hopefully in the end of next sprint. We are looking to go into UAT testing. Although having said that, we have been working with very closely with the service area that we're looking to onboard, the fire and risk service area. Not just with regards to testing, but also in terms of the way that we're developing, we're getting their feedback back from them. So we have a number of working groups up and running. We have a working group for that particular service area, the fire and risk service area. We have a working risk marker working group. And they're constantly feeding back to us their views, and if there's any issues that are being raised, we're able to adapt and change quite quickly because of the way that we're working with them.
Yeah, Zahir, I think we're looking to, I think it'll evolve, and it will iterate it for release 2 around with the working groups. Now we have the foundations and the build there, that we can actually start doing UAT with those working groups a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Okay, Azim? Yeah,
also just to add to that, I was in discussions with James today about from a user experience point of view, Tom, I think we want to get a more of an independent view as well, to ensure that that we've got this right. I think we're using today the product owner group, which is absolutely the group that's kind of driving this forward. But I think it's sometimes you get into a state. I think James made a good point to me that they get really comfortable with you, and they don't necessarily want to tell you negative things. So what we're going to do now is get an independent view of individuals from from service areas that are interested in what we're doing because they want to use the platform, but they haven't engaged yet. So we're going to use them to actually give us more of an outside view of, is that experience the right experience? Is that is it intuitive enough, or does it require some level of training before you can actually utilize? Because it should be so intuitive for them to be able to utilize that app with limited training, so they can just go and get on with what they need to do. And I think something that I may want to explore, I think, Tom, with you is to maybe get some feedback actually from other local authorities by doing some testing with them as well, and actually getting them to trial some of what we've done. And I think that would be really interesting from us, again, getting that independent view outside in terms of how this application is received and how the experience is generally with that as well.
I mean, that's a really good point there, Azim, you made. But I've got to tell you though, our product owner group, they don't hold back. when they've got points to make, they will make them.
Oh yes, yeah, that I can second that.
But no, really good. And Tom, I think it'd be really good for us to be able to work with yourself and other local authorities to get that feedback from them.
Brilliant. Hamza, did you want to come in here?
Just want to add on really to what Azim is saying. Tom, I've actually been on the program since it first started, so I don't know, we're going back to March 2020. So I've actually kind of seen the program develop, the platform develop, and even the users develop, because we've spoken to so many different field workers. So one thing we've definitely tried to ensure, and a lot of this has been through a lot of conversation with the user, is we've got such an expansive array of users. Some are very tech savvy, some are not tech savvy. You're going to have accessibility issues. So for me, the key thing is the actual experience, as Azim was saying, because we've tried to create something, because the whole objective of this is making the life of the field worker easy. So it can look all jazzy and look absolutely beautiful. However, if it doesn't hit that goal, then, I would believe personally I failed as a user researcher. So yeah, so as Azim said, it's really important to me that the user has the best possible experience they can. Thank you. Just wanted to get that in there.
Thank you. Did Tom, that help?
Yeah, that was really, really useful. And presumably you've also got some baseline metrics around what it used to take or what it currently takes to fulfill those tasks, and that's going to be really helpful as you go forward to start testing it out. You can actually see how things have changed, and that's going to be really amazing when that happens. Yeah,
and that's across there. We've got business change. We've got Fen, and Fen is our business change guru. So it's really exciting to work with Fen because she does have a background in Northgate as well. So we couldn't have got off to a better flying start.
Yeah, great. I can't wait to see, like James said, it being tested in the field. And if there's any way I can get some pictures, if I'm allowed out to actually come and see that, that'll be amazing. It's just, it's going to be great.
Well, we'll see what we can do on that date that you're down, because actually we may well be able to. I'll speak to Fen, see if we can get at least 1 or 2 people in.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you.
Is there any other questions, anyone? No? Okay. Please reach out, shout out if you've got anything that you want to ask. Big thank you, one, for everybody giving up your time today to come and learn a little bit more about Fieldworker. And 2, to the Scrum family, thank you very much for your ongoing work. I know it's tough, but we're almost so close. And thank you again to all IT&D for your support and your interest. Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye.
Helen. Thanks all.